watching Rogers TV.
Welcome to this week's episode of LdnOnt TV here on Rogers. I'm your host, Bronagh Morgan. It's a pleasure to be hosting this show now. I believe it has been 3 years for me in the studio for the last couple of years since we recovered from COVID. And over the last couple of years, I have had opportunities to participate in other Rogers shows as well. There was one time that I got to substitute host a show that's now hosted by Jennifer Slay. It's called What's Up London. Another time I got to be a guest on that show. I've been able to do some panel discussions as well when we have our when we have our elections over the last few years. And so what I love is a crossover episode. And tonight, we are bringing you a crossover episode with some of the hosts of the most interesting content that we have on Rogers TV here locally. My first guest is Kathleen Holland, and she is the host of her own show here on Rogers TV, and it existed before it even came onto Rogers TV, all her own inception, Hiking with Kathleen. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely great that we could put this together. So welcome to the LdnOnt set. Talk to me, Kathleen, a little bit about the whole concept. Like, why did you get involved and why did you decide to put together this originally YouTube show that is now a part of the Rogers lineup?
So it's a great retirement gig, I tell you, right? So I was just going for my regular walks in the woods and brought a camera along, started putting Facebook live feeds on my Facebook, and people started tuning in. So they thought, oh my God, let's see what she's looking at 6 in the morning. That's my retirement time I get up. Anyway, so there I was just out there, and I just got better and better cameras. And I thought, I think I want to make this into a regular thing. And that was February 2021. I struck up this YouTube channel, and it just so happened to be that the station manager here had a chance to see an episode where I was being interviewed by another Rogers personality, Ranger M. And he asked if, once he looked at my content on Hiking with Kathleen on YouTube, he thought, why don't we put together a show and put it on Rogers TV? So of course I was very happy with that. And as a result, I get a lot of people that recognize me when I'm out on the trails or if I'm in stores. And oftentimes my wife is with me in the episodes where we're camping, we're away for the summer, and she doesn't know why people look at her, and then she realizes, oh my God, it's the TV show. So that's what happens.
All right, so Kathleen, for people who are not familiar with Hiking with Kathleen,
yes,
tell our viewers what to expect. So what does the show look like?
So I bring my cameras, I walk through the woods, and sometimes it's private property, sometimes it's woodlots around London or farther afield. And I formerly was a naturalist, and as a result of that, I bring that sort of perspective when I'm filming wildlife, and I'll talk about what the animal is doing, or I'll identify the animal. And so it's a mixture of beautiful scenery and beautiful wildlife that I bring to people who are at home watching on their computers or on their big screen TVs.
Fantastic. And so when you talk about you are a naturalist, what does that mean?
So my first career ran 10 years out of university, and I studied biology. And so one of the first jobs I got was I was working at Pinery Provincial Park as a naturalist, as well as at the school board as a naturalist. So I was able to do both jobs, Pinery during the summer, school board during the 10 months of the school year. And so that means I was teaching others about the features of the natural environment. And for the school board, it was curriculum-based programs. At the Pinery, it was for the interest level of the audience. And yeah, so it was a really great experience to be able to do that 10 or 12 months of the year. So that was my first career, and then I left that and went into financial planning. So it was financial planning that I retired from that I was drawn right back into the woods. My first love.
But during your career as a financial planner, you were probably still going on these hikes. That's just a lifestyle for you.
I was going on those hikes, and I was teaching people a different subject. So, I mean, that part remained, and it was just, it was a great career. very social career. And so then, as I say, just a few years ago was time for me to just reconnect with the woods and be there full time.
Right. And so how much of your life now do you spend out in the woods?
So I go on hikes probably 4 or 5 times a week. And so
In any weather, because it's pretty chilly right now.
It's pretty chilly right now. I must say I didn't go last week, which happened to be the week when it was minus 25 to minus 30 degrees. And that's only because the cameras don't function very well. And then my bare fingers to operate the cameras, they don't function very well in those temperatures. Right? So that's where I was able to, that's okay. I was able to assemble other videos, do a lot of video editing. And then now I'm back out into the woods, and I like to do that. Oh my gosh, I was out in the woods at 7:30 this morning and got home at 12:30. So it's just, I'll do that 3 or 4 times a week. I get lots of content, and then I put together the next week's video.
All right. So London is some of the place, like obviously you're hiking in London. Where else do you like to hike?
So then it could be anywhere. I was like, Pinery would be an example. All of the other campgrounds where we travel to in the summertime. We went up to Thunder Bay to experience Sibley. Sibley's the old name, but Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. A couple of summers ago, we went out to Newfoundland, and so we brought the camera along and videoed the wildlife we saw out there. So it really is, it's limitless. But for the most part, I'm hiking somewhere within the London area, so probably within about a 1-hour drive of London.
And so for those people who get a chance to see some of your hikes and kind of have that desire to get out there just like you, can you give them kind of like a quick list of some of the things they want to keep in mind? Good shoes, good clothes, what they're looking for, any ideas for those people? Absolutely,
because when you are dressed appropriately, oh my God, it's just a wonderful experience to just be there and not feel like you have to go home. This morning, when I went out on my hike, I wear heated gloves, which means they have a rechargeable battery. I didn't have to turn it on because I was hoofing it. So I didn't have to worry about cooling down. I also wear a heated vest under my coat. If I need to, it's just a button-operated thing and recharge it when I get home. I didn't need to operate that either, and it's just because it was I was moving enough that I didn't have to worry about that. But that, in addition to having, I wore snow pants this morning because it was chilly out there. So you wear your base layers, you wear your outer layers, and make sure your extremities are covered up nicely. I had my hood on. You wear a hood or a toque or something like that, and then that way you can just be out there and be present and not worry about your cold fingers.
Yeah, absolutely. And then other times of year, obviously other concerns, so wear your sunblock, make sure you have your hat with you.
That's right.
What's your favorite time of year, just before we take this break, what's your favorite time of year to hike?
Spring.
And is there a favorite place?
Spring is my absolute favorite time of year, and the reason for that is the leaves are not yet out on the trees, and you know that this is the time of year when there's rebirth, renewed life, and this is the time of year when animals are coming back from migration or hibernation, and so the fields are full of a lot of different wildlife. As for my favorite areas, gosh, there's so many wonderful areas, and I worked at Westminster Ponds when I was working for the school board, so of course I gravitate towards there. And yeah, any area in the city, there's lots of environmentally sensitive areas worth exploring.
Wonderful, wonderful place that we live. So many opportunities to get out there and enjoy nature. We are going to have to take a break because Kathleen has more information about other ways to learn more about local nature. She's going to stay with us, and we hope you do. So just this little break, and we'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas you can't see, smell, or taste.
Homes with fuel-burning appliances and/or attached garages must have working CO alarms installed outside all sleeping areas.
Don't let the silent killer get you. Install working CO alarms today.
Welcome to Treat Yourself.
So I've been with Rogers TV for going on 7 years now, doing stuff for everything from working at the London Nationals here to doing the London Majors baseball. I've done basketball, I've done soccer, I've done football, basically anything that the Rogers TV wants me to do. I thought I wanted to be a volunteer because it gave me that opportunity to really improve my skills and gives me a chance to use them every week. It's not easy to go out and just be like, hey, I have talents in talking to a camera and wanting to talk to people. Finding a place to do that isn't the easiest place, but Rogers TV has been a great opportunity and gives me a chance to talk about the one thing I'm most passionate about, and that's hockey. If you've ever thought about doing something like this, go out and do it. There's nothing more exciting and exhilarating than standing in front of a camera and actually getting able to talk about stuff that you feel passionately about.
Welcome back to LdnOnt TV here on Rogers TV. I'm your host, Bronagh Morgan. We're having a crossover episode with Kathleen Holland from Hiking with Kathleen. Welcome again back to the show. For this segment, I know that you wanted to come and chat with us and all of our viewers about this really exciting series of events that's going on. Right. It's in partnership with, I believe, the London Public Library, as well as an organization that you're involved with, yes, which is Nature London.
That's right.
So let's talk about Nature London and talk about Nature in the City. Okay.
So Nature in the City is a series of speakers, of people that have that are dynamic speakers. They have an area of expertise about the City of London. So what's really cool is when you go to their presentations, you get to learn a little bit more about the City of London and where you can find maybe the natural inhabitants or the beautiful scenic areas, whatever their topic happens to be. So it runs for 6 weeks. It was on a 3-year hiatus. And can you imagine? Now we're running full steam ahead. I know that we had a little bit of a break, as you did with being here in the studio. So our series actually began a couple of nights ago, and it will run until February 20th. So it's every Tuesday night, and there's a different topic and a different presenter. And the thing is, it takes place at the Wolf Performance Hall at the London Public Library, and it costs nothing but your time. And the beautiful thing is, you will be sitting in a theater full of people that have very similar interests to you. They want to learn about nature here in the city. So I represent Nature London. Nature London is what I am a volunteer for, and I'm a member. That's another retirement gig. So I became more involved in that. I actually am the administrator for their YouTube channel. I lead hikes for Nature London, and now I'm chairing Nature in the City. So the reason I keep pointing over here is we do have a poster, but I believe it's one you're going to see up on the screen. So Nature in the City is it's something that is so well received. There's a lot of individuals that are perhaps from the university. They have course material but this is all for the general public. And the thing is, they come up with videos or they come up with slide presentations. And just a couple nights ago, we heard from Brock Fenton, who was the original Batman. He taught me a bat course when I was at Western. And so anyway, so there's a lot of really great material that anybody who's interested in nature would love to hear. Now, as for Nature London is an organization that's been around for about 160 years. It used to be called McElwraith Field Naturalists, and I wanted to just pull out a couple of these. These are newsletters that come out on a quarterly basis. For a person who joins Nature London at the cost of $35 for the year, and that's a family membership, or $10 if the person is a student. What happens with that is you're then eligible to go on the nature hikes that are led by leaders. We have indoor meetings that take place once a month. There's an expert in their field, and they come in and they present on a topic once a month. And Nature in the City is not specific to Nature London. Anybody can go to that. But there's so many more things. If you like Columbia sportswear, we also have privileges to be able to go and buy at a discount any of the clothing that gets you nice and warm out in the outdoors. So there's a lot of benefits, and it's also an organization that brings forward interest to politicians that may not be aware that there's areas that need to be protected in the city. So there's like a conservation mandate that also goes with Nature London. A person can become as involved or uninvolved as they want. You could just read the newsletters that come out 4 times a year, full of nature articles.
And beautiful pictures.
Right? So those are all photographs that would have been taken by members of Nature London.
I noticed that, yes.
So there's all kinds of information in those magazines, so you can read them at your leisure, you can read them online or in person. I always like to get the printed copy because then I can take it camping with me.
Absolutely, yes, something to read and enjoy. Okay, Kathleen, what's next for Hiking with Kathleen? Do you have any goals? Is there places that you haven't had a chance to explore yet?
Oh my goodness, you're going to be asking me ahead of the viewers. So we've got 2 trips this year where we are going to get on an airplane and we're going to bring the cameras with us, and one of those places might have monkeys. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the other place might have glaciers. But other than that, I can't spill the beans here because I haven't even told my viewers about that yet. But anyway, yeah, so as far as looking at where I will go with Hiking with Kathleen, it's really a matter of just bringing viewers along on whatever interesting place I happen to be going to that particular week or that particular month.
And then you mentioned that you lead hikes as well. So for somebody who would like to get involved and has never gone on one of these hikes before, is it through Nature London?
It's through Nature London. That's the only way in which I lead hikes. And but there's a whole list of hike leaders. Some are experts in birding. Some are experts in plants, flowers, things of that nature. I'm more of a generalist when it comes to being a naturalist. I'm going to show you snakes, I'll show you skulls, I'll show you all kinds of things because I want to make sure you have the best experience possible. But there is a whole area of Nature London where they are hardcore birders. It's actually where they have their meetings once a month, and it's all about birds. So you'll have a presenter who's an expert in that field. So it's quite a nice variety for individuals who just embrace nature in general.
Absolutely. So all ages, all ability levels, welcome, something for everybody.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. And now maybe a little, I guess, insight into Kathleen.
Yes.
What's your favorite little discovery maybe that you've made when you've been out hiking? Is there anything that you were surprised by or anything that you'd like to share that just like, this is why I do it?
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things to do is to capture on film an animal that is behaving naturally and doesn't even know I'm there. So I've had coyote sightings, deer sightings where they're just lying down during the day. That's what deer do. They chew their cud, they lie down, and they don't even know that I'm prowling around filming them. Snakes, anything that, I've been able to sort of film and they don't know that I'm doing it, that's a real bonus. That's a real treat for me because then I am showing the public the best possible view of that particular form of wildlife.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for doing what you do. And as busy as you are making time for us today, we do have to take another break, but this crossover episode continues with another great Rogers TV host after this.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi everyone, my name's Emily Febri. I'm also known as Ranger M. I'm an environmental communicator and educator, and I get to talk to a lot of different people about all things nature and conservation. I love to knowledge share, and that's what I want to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M.
Welcome back to LdnOnt here on Rogers TV. I'm your host, Bronagh, and we're having our crossover episode. Now we have the wonderful host of, is it called Ranger M? Is that the name? Learn with Ranger M. Emily Febri, thank you so much for being here. Also, a presenter at Nature in the City.
I know, a double hitter.
Okay, so for our viewers who have never seen Learn with Ranger M, let's talk a little bit about your show.
Yeah, Learn with Ranger M actually it came out of COVID. I was working at a local conservation authority, and like other people, I was trying to find a reason to keep my job relevant, so I started making these little videos for my job, all about nature, just gonna post them so families can watch them together and kind of include an activity about nature in some way, just to connect them still to the outdoor world. And Rogers saw one and they thought that it would be a good way to make a community project, and I was like, sure, that sounds fun. I've never been on TV. If you think I'll be good, let's give it a go.
I think you're doing great so far.
So yeah, mostly it's just about different things about nature, conservation. That's kind of how it started. It's really grown over the 4 years because that started in 2020. And now it's mostly I'm interviewing individuals that are passionate and doing great things in the world of nature and conservation.
All right, so we're switching, got you on the hot seat today.
Yeah, very different.
All right, so talk to our viewers a little bit about what to expect if they come to your talk, Nature in the City.
Yeah, so it's kind of going to mirror Ranger M in a way, Learn with Ranger M in a way, where I want to highlight all of these passionate individuals and organizations, as well as my kind of favorite places to explore, because like Kathleen, I love to go on hikes and explore locally.
Do you have a favorite that you can share with our viewers?
Oh, you know what?
It's hard to pick one, I'm sure.
It is very hard. London is very unique in the way that it has so many cool spots to go. I think Kathleen mentioned that all of the environmentally significant areas and forests in this area is so cool. We're very blessed to have like all of this, in my opinion. But I love Komoka is one of my favorites. And then if you want to travel a bit farther, I love Yarmouth Natural Heritage Area, which is just outside of St. Thomas. But yeah, those are a couple of my favorites. I have many. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of highlight those individuals as well as those places, and I called them London's Naturals. So that's
Beautiful.
The title of
and yours is on February
6th.
February 6th, wonderful. And it's at World Performance Hall, just a reminder.
Yep.
And I think they start at 6:30, is that right?
7.
7 o'clock,
7.
Okay, wonderful. And all free for everybody to attend. And I guess
Yes.
this is great for all ages, because the goal of your show is just to, families to kind of be learning together.
Yeah, and like that's kind of the whole aim is, I'm learning as well as the audience, and all of the people that I've had on have been so knowledgeable and so charismatic. It's just like such a fun learning environment. I include a blooper here and there too of some fun things like me dropping fish and stuff. So it's all fun and games. But yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to bring to the presentation as well.
Fantastic. So I guess you have always been somebody who loves the outdoors, and so how did your job working that turned into Learn with Ranger M? How did you get involved with that?
Yes, I've always been very passionate about the environment. I've been camping and hiking since a little girl. In high school, I was involved in this environmental leadership program at East Elgin Secondary School in Elmer, and it really kind of honed in my love for the environment, and it got me volunteering at a local conservation authority, Catfish Creek, and it kind of got my in and my love of conservation authorities and what they do for nature and education and all that. So it just kind of grew. I went to university for environmental sciences, and then I came back, and I've been working for several different CAs, conservation authorities, since then, growing my knowledge in all things from tree planting, habitat restoration, education, and now a bit more into communications.
Wonderful.
Like Learn with Ranger M.
So passionate about the environment and conservation since you are a young person. For those young people who might be watching and are thinking about maybe a career like yours or inspired by yours, what kind of advice could you give those people?
Yeah, I would definitely say getting involved. Nature London is a good example of a relatively affordable membership to get involved in hiking, to learn from the very knowledgeable people that are involved in Nature London. So many very knowledgeable people. And volunteering for different organizations, whether it's Reforest London or Upper Thames Region or River Conservation Authority. All of those things have volunteer opportunities. They have summer jobs that kind of get you your foot in the door. And then I went to university, but you can definitely do the college route. Fleming, all of those different places have great programs. Yeah, and utilize your connections as well. If you want to reach out to Ranger M, I can see if I can give you any inspo or anything, but definitely utilize connections and the people and the natural champions around you and stuff like that.
And so for those people who are maybe inspired to put together some content for Rogers, how's that? Like, have you enjoyed posting your show?
Yeah, it's still a little surreal, even after 4 years that I have a TV show, and even when my friends or my partner brings it up and I'm just like, oh yeah, I do. It's so funny. But yeah, I've started this show, and then I've actually created some social media sites too that I'm creating more, like TikTok form content and stuff, and I actually really enjoy posting it. It gets me out in nature more often than even I was doing. I have a dog too, so he's obviously featured in a lot of my content. Nice. And yeah, it's just truly fun, and I really think it gets the word out even more.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Well, appreciate what you do here at Rogers. So is there any sneak previews? Like, what are we expecting from Learn with Ranger M? Is there anything that we can tell our viewers to be watching out for?
I have more exciting things to share. I've just kind of dipped my toes in featuring the many different passionate individuals in London. We have so many different organizations that are all about nature and conservation, and I just want to keep kind of highlighting that. Obviously, this is a big year for London in terms of composting, right? We're collecting organics and stuff, so kind of talking about that stuff a little bit more. And yeah, just showcasing more of London's kind of natural champions.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here, because it sounds like you have a ton of things to do too. So appreciate you coming on the crossover episode of LdnOnt. Thank you also to our first guest, Kathleen, who is Hiking with Kathleen's fantastic host. And thank you, viewers, as well, for tuning in this week. I hope you will tune in again next week and get involved with Nature London, Nature in the City. Watch Learn with Ranger M, watch Hiking with Kathleen, and come back for more LdnOnt next week as well. I'm your host, Bronagh. Take care.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
I did it. I need it.
The hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
Think before you say it. Don't wind up like me.